Hey guys, I'm here to show you guys my blue-black mill deck. I've been working on it for a little while. I think it's pretty sweet. Tell me what you guys think. Alright, let's get started with the best mill card in existence. Archive Trap. Basically puts the top 13 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. And if they search for the library, if you have 4 of these in your hand, oops, dropped one. Put 4 of these in your hand, and that's 52 cards. Meaning, if that's turn 1, if you're that lucky, you know, they fetch for a land, and that's 52 cards out of their graveyard. Meaning they're left with 1 card, 52 plus 7 in their hand. It's 1 card left in their graveyard. They only have about, 2 cards left to play. Or 2 turns. Another great mill card, Traumatize. Basically puts the top half of his or her library rounded down into his or her graveyard. I own a playset of these, but I've noticed that with the cards I have in here, I don't really need this as much as you would think. But it's still a very, very good card. Next good mill card, Tome Scour. Top five cards, his or her library into his or her graveyard. I have 4 of them, so it equals 20. But I mean, I can always bring them back with Call to Mind. Call to Mind returns an instant or sorcery card from my graveyard to my hand. That's some graveyard manipulation for you. Hedron Crab. I was going to say Hedron Matrix. Hedron Crab. Basically, every time a land enters a battlefield, you get milled for 3, and I have 2 of them, so that's 6. Circu, Dimir, Lobotomist. Basically, whenever you cast a blue or black spell, I can remove the top card of your library from the game, and then those cards that I remove from the game, they are gone from the game. Period. They're never coming back. Another great card, Bloodchief Ascension. Basically, it's one of those quest counter cards. Whenever it has 3, every time they get milled, they lose 2 life for every card. So if this thing's juiced up, plus a Archive Trap, that's 26 life. It gets juiced up by every time they lose 2 life. Every turn they lose 2 life. So meaning that the easiest way to do that for me would be Ob NIxilis the Fallen. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have target player lose 3 life. If you do, put 3 1/1 counters on Ob NIxilis. He starts as a 3/3, and every land he grows exponentially. Pretty fucked up card. That juices up your Bloodchief Ascension, and then they're fucked for every time you mill them. And then you bring this out, Nemesis of Reason. Whenever Nemesis of Reason attacks, defending player puts the top 10 cards of his or her library into his graveyard. They don't even have to respond to your attack. If they destroy this guy, but you already attacked, they are fucked. They still have to mill 10. I have a couple ice cages in here, just to buy me some time so they don't kill me before I start milling them. I have Jace's Erasures. Every time I draw a card, they get milled for 1. And if I have 2 of them out, they get milled for 2 every time I draw a card. I have a Mind Control. I gain control of enchanted creature. Oh, great card as a combo with Traumatize. Traumatize and then Haunting Echoes. Exile all cards from target player's graveyard other than basic land cards. And then for each card exiled this way, search that player's library for all cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles his or her library. That's pretty fucked. That means all your playsets of anything are gone. Now, let me show you something cool. Here's a card called Cast Through Time. It's from the Eldrazi set. And instant and sorcery spells I control have rebound, meaning I play 1 Archive Trap, play it, it gets rebounded, and the next turn, it's in your face again. Another good card, Liliana Vess. I use her basically as a cool little combo. So I make you discard a couple cards so that I can make you discard a couple cards so she gets to maybe, like, you know, I don't know, have her there long enough for her so that I can use her -2 ability, search your library for a card. I search for Traumatize. I put the top half of your library into your graveyard, and then I put, for her -8 ability, I put all creature cards in all graveyards onto the battlefield under my control. Up next, Memory Erosion. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, that player puts the top 2 cards of their library into the graveyard. Meaning, every time they play a spell, they get milled for 2. One of the most broken cards I've ever seen, Bojuka Bog. It's a land, and whenever it comes into play, target player, I can exile your entire graveyard. So imagine I traumatize you, and then Bojuka Bog. If that doesn't say broken to you, there's something wrong with you. Leyline of the Void. Basically, it's one of the Leylines from M11, and which means I can, start the game with it onto the battlefield without casting it if it's in my opening hand. And then if a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, I exile it instead. So I play this turn 1. Say it's in my opening hand. Traumatize you, half your library is gone. From forever, like it's just gone. Wrexial the Risen Deep. Island Walk and Swamp Walk. It's also whenever Wrexial the Risen Deep deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target instant or sorcery card from that player's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If you do, you put that instant or sorcery card you exile it. I have a Diabolic Tutor. Don't really need it that much though, since I have Leyline on a Vest, but it's more likely for me to use the Diabolic Tutor than Leyline on a Vest. I have Wall of Frost. Buys me some time. I have Cancels, Negates, and Essence Scatters, just to buy me enough time to start milling the fuck out of you. I have Call to Mind, brings back an instant sorcery spell from my graveyard to my hand. Lorthos the TIdemaker. Whenever Lorthos TIdemaker attacks, you may pay 8. If you do, tap up to 8 target permanents. Those permanents don't untap during the controller's next untap tap. Basically, it's a great control card. It's amazing. It really is. And it's an 8/8. So, I mean, every time it attacks, you take 8 damage and then you can't even block because of his ability. It's pretty sweet. Sphinx of Magosi. It's a 6/6 flyer. And for 3 I get to draw a card and put 1/1 counter on Sphinx of Magosi. Meaning if I have, Jace's Erasure out, you get milled for 2. Elixir of Immortality lets me put my entire graveyard into my library, my graveyard into my library. I have a couple Drowned Catacombs to give me some nice little mana boosts. Jwar Refuge. This does the same thing except it comes into play tapped. But I gain a life though, so it's pretty sweet. That might be it. Yeah. Pretty sure I showed you guys cast through time. If I didn't, all my spells have rebound. Yeah, I think that's it. So let me know what you guys think. I think it's pretty sweet. Once I get like 5 land out though, sorry webcam, once I get 5 land out, like, I can do anything in my deck. Except my creatures, except for like Sphinx, which costs 8, Sphinx, which costs 6, Lorthos, which costs 8, and Cast Through Time, which costs 8 as well. Wrexial the Risen Deep costs 6, but I mean, this deck doesn't really rely on creatures per se. It relies on all my archive traps and traumatizes and stuff. It's a mill deck. It doesn't work for life, but still a good deck. So let me know what you guys think, And yeah, have a good day.